Hey moon babes, witches, heathens, welcome back to As Above, So Below. So today we're going to be chatting about solitary witchcraft or joining a coven. So this is a topic that is very personal. And when I was first starting on my journey, I know for me, I was very more so solitary because I wanted to understand the depths of this craft. It was almost like I couldn't get enough. So I had other people around me who actually introduced me to witchcraft, but it was more so like I wanted to glean everything and understand it myself. And then it naturally started to form more of a coven circle. So I kind of wanted to go through some of my journey with that evolution because I do have a coven now. We are a coven of 4. And we are like sisters. It's a bond that is deeper than blood. You know, it's an energetic understanding, and we are all connected from a heart space. And we also practice the craft. And our craft is very eclectic, but we all have different, traditions and paths that we are interested in. So it's kind of cool because one person may be really into the druidic path, or somebody who is really interested in the Norse paganism. It's cool because you can really blend all of the different elements together. And we have Sabbats, which are the solar celebrations and the turning of the seasons. And that's really when we get up and we start to do a lot of these celebrations, but we all practice individually too. So but I wanted to share with you a book if you are a solitary witch practitioner. This is the Book of Shadows, The Solitary Witch by Silva Ravenwolf. This is like the big Bible. It's like the witch's Bible of everything. I mean, it has spells, it has rituals, it has ceremonies, sabbats, also quarter calls, and it also goes into the different astrological signs. Like, this is such a wealth of knowledge. And you can see that I have gone through and highlighted stuff. So this is really a very powerful tool in your arsenal. Now, this doesn't replace your personal Book of Shadows, but this is something that really helped me when I first started on my journey, because I didn't really have like a big community. It can be very lonely when you're first walking this path. And there's a big sense of like self-development that you go through. There's also for me, there was a lot of fear of judgment. Coming out of the broom closet is not easy. It's not easy for anybody, but to be able to walk in your autonomy with your craft is one of the most powerful things that you can do. And as a witch, that is something that you're going to have to get used to doing. You're going to have to get used to holding your power and not wavering from your beliefs, because you will be challenged. You will be challenged many times, but if you are coming from a place of love and not hurting anybody, I've often had people come up to me because I do markets. And I have, I sell crystals, I sell candles, I sell ritual sprays, and they're like, you don't look bad, like, I'm like, because I'm not. And a lot of people have this definition of what a witch is, or what a witch should be. Often it's like Hollywood, and of course Christianity has tainted a lot of that. But when you come back to reclaim the word witch, it is so powerful, and that helps me find a lot of empowerment in my craft. So I think being a solitary witch in the beginning is actually a really good thing. It can feel lonely. So if there are people who you can reach out to or communities that you can be a part of, and often it's online, that's actually what I'm trying to grow here. I'm trying to grow an online safe space for witches, pagans, heathens, anybody who is a non-traditional, you know, route. Like that's really what I'm trying to do, and it's honoring the cycles of the seasons, and also understanding that witchcraft can be different, has a different definition to everybody. You can ask one witch what they think being a witch is, and you will get maybe a slightly different answer from somebody else, but you can still feel the same vein coursing throughout everybody, and it oftentimes comes with harmony and understanding, philosophical nature, being connected and rooted to the earth. That's what our pinnacle represents. And when you start to carry that autonomy, you will attract more people. So for me, I started again reading a lot of Silver Ravenwolf's books. And I started to write in my book of shadows. And I started to see the world differently. It's almost like everything was so magical. Everything was a sign. But they made sense. It was a language that I understood. And I began to, see colors. I began to understand the inner voice of myself, my higher self, and my guides. Um, and that's another thing that I want to touch on too, is that when you are solitary, it's important to really understand and build a connection with yourself and your craft. So whatever that looks like for you, and again, I am a very eclectic witch, so I practice a lot of Norse paganism. I'm really into Greek mythology, as you see here. Hecate is my patron goddess, but also Freya is a patron goddess of mine too. I work very much with them. I have a light goddess, I have a dark goddess. I work with Odin. I am actually starting to work with like Thoth and Hermes. So it's cool because you can glean so much wisdom and you can craft it into what suits you. And that's the beauty of this path. So building a strong connection with your inner magic is the key. So when I started to kind of dive deep into this, and I started getting comfortable with sharing who I was, putting myself out there, and really starting to just like grow in this magical skin, I started to want people of like minds around me. I really craved that sisterhood. And there's nothing like being in a ritual where all of you are feeling the same things and you are all having your own experiences, and it's like this thread of love. And of course, everybody's coven is different. You may have different values, you may have different ways of practicing, and all are okay. Like there's absolutely no judgment about anybody's path. If anybody tells you that you are not practicing witchcraft the right way, they are not a witch. Like nobody can tell you what to do or how to practice. Like this is a very sacred, autonomous path. But my coven kind of grew organically. It was actually the three girls who are a part of the coven I actually worked with. So one of them I worked with at the spa that I used to work at, and she's kind of like our gypsy witch. Her name is Jenna McCracken. I love you, Jenna. And she's a Taurus. She's very connected. She is very fae-like, and she also has roots in Egypt. And But she floats. She's very fae. She's very gypsy, you know, and she's a Sag rising. So there's a lot of that, like, you know, inner fire. And she teaches us to be more, you know, more outgoing and to be able to take, you know, chances and to travel. Like, there's a lot of really interesting lessons that your coven can teach you, you know. And then we have Jenna Marcy, who she is a Virgo and she's also a Sag rising, and I met her through the job that I worked at. She is a hairstylist, and her and I have gone through hell and back together, you know. Like, it's you form such strong connections, and everybody teaches you different lessons. And Liz is also a hairstylist who I met probably about a year and a half ago. And she is a Leo sun and a Sag rising. And it's so interesting how we all have these threads that connect us. And, you know, she is very nature based as well. She is great with herbs. She is a bookworm, which we love that, you know. But everybody has a different story to tell. And all of us have taught each other how to be a better friend, how to be a better sister. And again, like, our coven is very heart-centered, heart-based. And it will probably grow over time, but that bond will never break because we have shared ritual together. We have shared sacred space together. But in the beginning, it wasn't always like that. You know, coven gatherings can form very organically, or you can actually seek them out. So if you find, you know, if you have like a local pagan community that you can join on Facebook or anything like that, like, I mean, you can post anonymously in there. But if you are seeking that connection and that community, there are ways now in the modern day that we can find like-minded people. But there's nothing like sharing that same understanding and that same resonance. And this is so ancient. What we practice is so old and primal, and it threads back way before Christianity. And to be able to feel that with multiple people who understand that and feel that too, it's just, it's palpable. And in ritual, that's also a place that is sacred. You know, we've had people float in and float out of our coven, and that's okay. You know, we're accepting of many different people, but also we have discernment, you know, because we have to make sure that the sanctity of what it is that we are holding stays that way, stays filled with love and trust, like with perfect love, with perfect trust. And if that trust is not there, or that trust is broken, it can weed out into the whole group. And nobody wants that, you know. Being energy sensitive creatures that we are, we can all feel when something's off. So holding a coven, and oftentimes that comes with having a high priestess. We don't necessarily have a designated high priestess. Like, I know I put on a lot of the rituals, but we don't have one single high priestess. Like, we love to learn and have others come in and share, you know, their leadership and share their knowledge and understanding, you know, because that also gives people the opportunity to hold the power. And I think everybody should have that opportunity. And, you know, all of us practice different things. Like, I love tarot and I love mediumship and divination. You know, I'm a Pisces, of course, but there's root magic, and there's deity magic, and there's chaos magic. And just because you don't practice that doesn't mean that you can't glean wisdom from somebody else who does. So having an open mind is also really important when you and if you do get to the space of having a coven. But if you practice solitary, that is okay too. Like, you don't have to have a coven, and there are probably points in your life where you won't. Um, and I look at that as a time to really build that solid foundation and that structure of my understanding of this, because there's still areas of the craft that I don't know. And again, that's okay. But at the end of the day, we all worship the goddess. We all also worship gods. Like, there's a balance and a union between both. Um, but you have to feel into what is right for you and what feels right for your soul at this point in time. But if you need more resources, this is a great resource. And again, if you want to join my community, that I would love that. Like, I would love to have more like-minded people. And I'm also having a new moon in Capricorn ritual this Sunday, January 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we are going to be, the theme of it is rooted in abundance. So we're going to be looking at ways that we can attract more abundance to us, and maybe what ways we can add more structure to how we want to bring more abundance to us. And we're going to be making money bowls, and we're going to be doing spells, and all of this is in the comfort of your own home. This is online, so you are welcome to join. The link for that is in the description box below. And if anything, it is to join community too. And we're now having the same people come multiple times, and we're starting to build like a circle online, and it's so exciting and I love it. So but yeah, I would love to connect with you guys. And if you're interested in following me on Instagram, the link for all of that is in the description box. So, but I hope that this resonated, and if there's any topic that you want me to go over, please put it in the comments. I want to make sure that these videos are informational, knowledgeable, and you get value out of them. So, but love you guys. Thank you for joining. Blessed be. Bye.